My name is Joe Davis. I'm one of the pastors here. Today we start a new series, Jesus in Genesis. The goal of this series is to change the way you look at reading the Old Testament. The first thing I think of an Old Testament is long. And the other thing I think about the Old Testament, sometimes it can be considered like a rule book, Some Christians consider the Old Testament irrelevant because, that was before Jesus and it really doesn't apply to my life. What the Old Testament really is an expanded explanation of the gospel. What I want you to do after this series, and maybe even during this series, maybe even after today's message, is it's going to change your eyes of how you look at it. And I'm praying that as you begin to look at the Old Testament, you'll be given the ability to see pictures and shadows and images of Jesus. And when that begins to happen, you'll be amazed at how the Old Testament will start making a lot more sense to you. Because sometimes we look at the Old Testament and we think, man, this looks like it's kind of like legalism or rules and do's and don'ts, and I don't like that. And believe me, I get you. I get you on that. But in reality, what the Old Testament is doing is explaining our need for the gospel and then explaining how the gospel works. And you're going to see.